Hi, I'm Janice Abel, Principal Analyst for ARC Advisory Group. I'm here today with Petteri Vainikka, Chief Marketing Officer from Cognite, who is going to discuss some of Cognite's AI solutions. Welcome, Petteri.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for joining us today. This year's forum's theme is focused around AI, and with data, of course, an undeniable fuel for AI outcomes. Where is AI adoption today in the industrial operations, and how is Cognite embedding AI to accelerate value from industrial data for customers?
I'll start with the first one. So where is it today? We see quite a vibrancy in customers embracing AI technologies today across troubleshooting, root cause analysis, turnaround optimization, also connecting the field to the office across their operations. So are there many customers, are there many companies who are at scale deployed operational today? Not quite, but we do see very attractive and exciting cases and opportunities progressing. And within the next quarter or two, I think you'll see a lot more mature and emerge out of that one. So a very exciting time, and there's certainly value. The value is undeniable. The value is undisputed. So there's certainly a thriving, still a business case for that.
So could you talk a little about the difference between AI deployment in industrial operations context versus elsewhere? For example, customer service functions.
Yes, a great question again. So absolutely. So in the operational context, it's all about being able to verify and validate that what you're actually seeing from the AI solutions is what you are supposed to be seeing. So hallucinations, or thereabouts right results, which may be fine in consumer context or maybe fine even in customer service, where ultimately it's about working with human language, and there's not a very large risk or problem associated with making a slightly wrong conclusion or erroneous decision. In the operational context, however, things are very different. We deal with engineering sciences, end users are engineers, process engineers, technicians, continuous improvement, maintenance technicians, who are used to being fed or provided mathematically correct answers, and who are used to be having to follow a certain procedure so that they can run their operations safely and securely. So when we look at AI and deploying AI solutions into operational context, we have to keep that mindset. So whatever we provide through AI facilitated solutions to the end users has to be verifiable. They have to be able to go in and see what reasoning steps did the AI take. They need to be able to break it down. They need to be able to actually trace back where did the AI agent, for example, or co-pilot, where did they obtain the answer, the solution that they're proposing. It needs to be verifiable. It needs to be trustworthy. Without that trust, without that critical link, we're not going to see adoption. We're not going to see performance. We're not going to see value from AI in the field.
So with all the hype regarding AI, and machine learning, of course, please describe some of your company's most recent solutions that support AI and ML. And does it include adding capabilities to your existing product and solutions offerings?
It does indeed. So Cognite is probably best known for our work on industrial data management. So we have been providing our core industrial data management platform called Cognitive Fusion to our customers for almost a decade now. And that is still the bedrock. That is what allows us to build hallucination-free, scalable, agentic AI solutions to the field. And ultimately, what we do is we take the customer's disjointed, disparate, heterogeneous data across their engineering, operations, and IT systems. We fuse those together through a process we refer to as contextualization that then represents or ends up in an industrial knowledge graph. And that graph, that harmonized, unified data model across the operations is then what powers the hallucination-free agentic solutions. At Cognite, we've been deploying AI both across the full stack, if we will. So we are using increasingly, we've always used AI in machine learning context. We have been heavily embedding generative AI capabilities in converting unstructured data from the source systems into the structured data models that ultimately become the industrial knowledge graph. So a lot of embedded AI, a lot of embedded generative AI in the core, in the heart of the platform. And then, of course, at the user experience level, the most disruptive, potentially the most disruptive area where we are seeing our customers benefit from generative AI is at the user experience. It is making formally complicated workflows, sometimes disjointed experiences, all the need to have very proficient, skilled data scientists and developers all the time alongside the SMEs. It is basically rendering that obsolete. So today it is already possible for process engineer to talk to the solution in plain English or any other language for that matter, and have a time series analytics agent do time series analytics for them. Similar in troubleshooting, you can ask the agent to render the fault tree and then start populating it and navigating through and working through that in a conversational style. So it is both at the user experience level, making the complicated simple, so users don't need to learn Python or GraphQL or even SQL, and then to also, of course, within the platform itself, to allow for the contextualization services to be even more scalable, even more robust, and even more impressive. At the end of the day, if the data going in doesn't get properly improved through the contextualization services and data quality services, then the outcomes will not be as good either. But again, AI is a technique that can be embedded all across. End user-wise, yes, they will experience it at the last mile, as we refer to it, at the user experience level. But at Cognite, we are heavily invested in embedding it at the very core, at the belly of the whale of the platform, as we call.
What are the characteristics of successful AI-accelerated digital transformation programs, and where should operators start?
Oh, very simple, very good question. Actually, the best question there is. Start with value. Start with value. Map out the value. What is the value that your organization will gain from AI and data technologies being applied at scale? Think about the enterprise picture. Think about the scale, the value at scale, from being able to deploy not one, not two, but 10, 20, perhaps 30, perhaps even 50 different digital AI-enabled solutions across not one site, not two sites, but across your entire fleet. So think about the value, look at the value, and then work your way back. Because again, that picture may be daunting at first. So then work your way back. What capabilities, what technologies need to be put in place so we get on the journey? Nobody eats an elephant at once, so you take it out in bites. And again, to start the journey is actually much more simple. You don't need to eat the elephant at once, but you do need internal alignment. You need your operations to come together with your IT and technical teams, to come together with your subject matter experts, your field, and ultimately those coming together, those three pillars who will make it happen, then also need the support and endorsement of senior management. So senior management buy-in is critical, but ultimately it comes down to getting OT and IT and the field to all come together and see themselves in it, see their work being improved, see them being more productive, and that then drives benefits for the enterprise.
I think that's very important. And so what areas are you seeing from your customers that will be most impacted by AI within the next 12 months?
We see a lot of customers investing in troubleshooting. So troubleshooting is probably the smallest bit of root cause analysis, which is a bigger program. Conventionally today, if you ask any operator how often do they do root cause analysis properly, they will say too rarely, because it just costs too much money and takes too much time. So with our AI accelerated techniques and workflows, it is possible to do root cause analysis at the time of a conventional short-term CRISPR troubleshooting exercise. So we see that as an area. Again, when you understand your plants and assets better, you can drive up reliability, that reduces downtime, that then increases output and throughput and therefore yield and revenues. So that's a big area. Another big area is connecting the field to the office. So connecting the field workers in their day-to-day routine tasks to your continuous improvement teams in the office, to your reliability teams in the office. And again, doing that through a single pane of glass, single unified data foundation. And again, using AI to accelerate the adoption of the new solutions, as well as to adopt and increasingly simplify the complex. Again, we don't want to burden either one of our teams or any one of our teams with new tools that are complicated. The task is actually the opposite. How can we make the life of our workers in the field and in the office easier, smoother, faster, more efficient? So that's definitely an area.
So are there any traps or mistakes you can caution operators to avoid as they turn to AI to impact production, maintenance, reliability, and so on?
Yes. Don't look at doing one more shiny POC at one site that is not inherently architected and thought of to be scalable. This industry is plagued by POC purgatories. There's no shortage of impressive one-off case studies or halfway baked solutions that have been done at one site that never get really adopted because the user experience is just not there, and even more profoundly, never get scaled across the fleet. Without that scaling in mind from the get-go, it is really hard to justify the investment, the ROI. And again, it all starts with a data foundation. So having a scalable data foundation that is built to accelerate the scaling out across fleets of digital solutions, that is the only way you will get to scale. So if there's one thing I would caution is don't start running into things quickly at one side and having that siloed lens on. You're only going to propagate more silos and create more silos and complexity, and it's going to be a maintenance hell to maintain. But really think about how do we set ourselves up as an enterprise to scale the value that we are creating? How do we make it extremely cost efficient to take what works at one plant to the other plant, to the 10th plant and the 20th plant? Really think about that scaling mindset. So, and again, don't make it too daunting. You have to start somewhere, but the big picture, the architecture, the platform thinking needs to be built out for scale from the get-go. It's very hard to retrofit scaling into something that was never intended to do that.
So an enterprise approach works best.
An enterprise approach works best, which then is taken down into a small bite-sized chunk so you can get started. Getting started, also challenge the partners you work with. If you cannot get started with an enterprise scalable mindset and infrastructure, but if you cannot get started in 1 quarter to value, to results, to impact in the field, then you probably need to revise and rethink your technology architecture.
Thank you for watching. That is Petteri Vainikka, who joined us live from Orlando at the 2025 ARC Leadership Forum to discuss Cognite's AI solutions.